Tonight, in a special edition of the Chicago Report, we take a look back at the top 10 political stories of the year.
Now at 9, a roof ripped off at a school as storms move through parts of the state. All this happening as a tornado touches down. And several shootings are under investigation tonight, including one that took a man's life in River North.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News Sunday.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Schneider. Let's start with a live look outside after what was a wet, dreary, and at times very stormy night. Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls is in the Weather Center. You were busy tonight.
Very, very busy. So we had a very busy afternoon, and now that strong cold front has already moved through, we're already kind of starting to turn our attention over to the snow that's going to be in the forecast tonight and the very high winds. But first, let's do a little recap of what took place during the afternoon. So I have the radar playing on a loop throughout the afternoon hours to about 5:30 or 6 p.m. when those storms finally exited the region. But that blinking purple box that you're going to see here showing up in Iroquois County, Kankakee County, and into northern Newton County, that was actually a confirmed tornado. So we were dealing with some very serious storms rolling through, but fortunately our severe weather threat that is now over as far as thunderstorms are concerned. But now we're turning attention over to a wind advisory. So we have a wind advisory that's now been issued for the entire region that's going to stay in effect until 3 p.m. tomorrow for westerly winds becoming west-northwesterly, gusting as high as 50, maybe even 55 miles per hour at times throughout the overnight. And then tomorrow, I'm expecting those winds to be gusting as high as about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So the radar right now, off to our northwest, that's where we see all of the snow. And we still have to get through the cold and snowy side of this storm system now. We already had the warm side. Now we're starting to track some snow, beginning to move into the far northwest suburbs. And then tonight, that's going to turn into lake effect. So in northern LaPorte County, we actually have a winter weather advisory going into effect at midnight tonight, lasting until midnight tomorrow night for as much as 2 to 5 inches of snow. So a little bit of a whirlwind here that we're going to be experiencing throughout this very short 24-hour period. But once we get past tomorrow, then things will begin to calm down at least a little bit. And I'll show you your New Year's Eve forecast coming up.
Meanwhile, we are getting tonight a closer look at the damage caused by today's severe weather. You're looking at video out of Long Creek, and you can see a whole lot of debris scattered along the roads there. The high winds today causing a whole lot of damage at a school in Livingston County. The roof atop the gym at Prairie Central Junior High School ripped right off. The superintendent there says no classrooms were damaged. However, the roof over the kitchen and the cafeteria also saw some minor damage. Now, students right now are on break. They'll be out till January the 5th. He says inspectors will be on site tomorrow to ensure that the building is safe. The super says all practices and activities at the school are now canceled until space at another gymnasium in the district can be secured. Here's a look at some of the other damage today's violent storm caused. This is in Forest Park. You can see a tree came down on a home. The homeowner talking about what she experienced.
I heard the hail first, and I went to the back of the house to look outside, and then I heard the wind. So I ran to my hallway because that's the only safe place in my house. And then I heard a big crash at this end of the house. And when I was able to come look, this tree had come down, and it put a hole in my roof of my house and a hole in the roof of my garage out here.
Now, there have been no injuries reported in connection with any of today's severe weather. That's the good news. Stay with us anytime severe weather moves through the area. Whenever we are not on air, you can always find the latest information on our website, fox32chicago.com, and, of course, on the Fox local app. Tonight, police continue their search for suspects following a deadly shooting overnight in River North. Officers responding to the scene in the 400 block of North LaSalle just after 2:30 this morning. One person killed. Tonight, 3 others remain in critical condition. Police say the victims were entering a vehicle when 4 men approached them and opened fire. The suspects then fled. No one is in custody. A man was rushed to the hospital after being stabbed during an altercation on a Blue Line train in the West Loop. Police arriving at the scene in the 500 block of North Milwaukee Avenue just after 6 o'clock this morning. They say the victim got into an argument with another man on that train. The suspect then swung a knife at the victim, cutting him on his left hand. The victim taken to the hospital in good condition. No arrests have been made. Gunfire in a subdivision in Homer Glen this morning, forcing the people who live there to shelter in place. Police responding to reports of gunshots at Twin Oak Court at approximately 8:35 this morning. A neighbor telling deputies they heard that gunfire near a home in the area. Deputies also heard gunfire and established a perimeter around the home. Residents sheltered in place for more than an hour before police took a person of interest into custody. It is unclear what led up to the gunfire or whether any injuries were reported. A Missouri man has been ordered held behind bars following a Christmas Eve stabbing at an extended stay in Burr Ridge. Police releasing this image. This is Uberklein Vasquez Villarreal, who was reportedly sharing a room with two other men when he allegedly stabbed one of them several times with a knife. Officers eventually found Villarreal in the hallway covered in blood. The victim rushed to the hospital. Villarreal has been charged with 1 count of armed violence, 2 counts of aggravated battery. With a little help from the Ravens last night, the Bears clinched the NFC North before they even hit the field in San Francisco. However, still some issues to be decided today, mainly the question of which seed they would end up with and whether it would involve a first-round bye. Now, the Seahawks came into today with the #1 seed. They were taking on the Panthers. Fourth quarter here, Seattle up 20-10. And here you can see a touchdown. This was a very good day for Seattle. They win 27-10. So the Eagles still mathematically in contention for the #2 seed, taking on the Bills. 8 seconds left. Bills down 13-6. And Josh Allen, a lot of people's MVP, he would... Okay, let's just watch the play unfold. This was the 2-point attempt, and unfortunately, it would be just askew by just a couple of yards. Incomplete pass. Eagles hang on, 13-12. So here's what we know. Bears can clinch at least the #2 seed if they win tonight, and right now they're behind at halftime. If there is no victory against the Niners, then next week with a win against the Lions or an Eagles loss, to get the #1 seed, the Bears would need to win out and need the Seahawks to lose to the Niners next week. And a reminder, we will have full post-game coverage for you right here on Fox Chicago once the Bears and 49ers go final. Now to the latest on the war in Ukraine. President Trump meeting face-to-face with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky today to discuss ending the conflict with Russia. The two leaders holding talks in Florida at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort this afternoon. Trump and Zelensky discussing a revised 20-point peace plan, which Zelensky says was 90% agreed upon. It follows extensive meetings involving Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Trump says he is optimistic, but acknowledges some challenges remain to achieve any peace deal.
I just think we're doing very well. We could be very close. There are 1 or 2 very thorny issues, very tough issues, but I think we're doing very well. We made a lot of progress today, but really we've made it over the last month. This is not a one-day process deal. This is very complicated stuff.
Trump reportedly spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin both before and after that meeting with Zelensky. He says once peace is achieved, Russia will help Ukraine with reconstruction efforts. Trump also says Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. There's a risk of yet another government shutdown when Congress returns to work in a few days. And also staring lawmakers down is whether or not they can address spiking health care premiums. Chad Pergram has more.
Lawmakers left Washington without fixing skyrocketing costs for some health care premiums as Obamacare subsidies expire.
We have constituents that are going to have their premiums go up. That doesn't help them. That's why I think that we need a temporary extension.
But some lawmakers believe Congress can address health care in 2026. It's an election year, and that could compel action.
They're never going down until you change the model.
Democrats withheld their votes for government funding unless Congress renewed expiring tax credits.
Still no solution. Were all of those tactics worth it?
Donald Trump and Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They made the decision to shut the government down.
But you don't have a resolution.
Why did they shut the government down? We've raised the issue of the Affordable Care Act tax credits.
And Democrats aren't certain if they'll run the same political play on health care as a January 30th spending deadline looms. That doesn't sound like you've arrived on a strategy for how to handle January 30th. So is that in play, yes or no, the health care issue the same as it was in the government shutdown this fall?
I answered the question again.
But that doesn't sound clear, though.
The bottom line is very clear. You can't do it after January 1st. Once it expires, the toothpaste is out of the tube.
At least one Republican believes his party erred not having a health care plan ready at the end of the government shutdown.
We have to get into this game. We can't sit back and think that because Democrats have basically owned the health care message in polling over the last 15 years that we should not have a plan. We definitely need one.
Some Republicans want to go it alone on health care. They hope to use a special process to bypass a Senate filibuster and pass their own health care bill and campaign on that in 2026. In Washington, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Red Cross has declared emergency blood shortages nationally, including here in Illinois, with current supplies at 20-year lows. Today in Bolingbrook, they were rolling up their sleeves to save lives.
Just days after the Christmas holiday, it's the gift that keeps on giving on display in Bolingbrook. Today's blood drive, part of a partnership between the American Red Cross and Chicago's We Love You Foundation.
We're in the winter time right now, so it's a little bit cold and people don't want to get out of the house, but I'm really excited to be here today because we can make a difference by saving lives and donating blood.
And right now, the need is critical. The Red Cross estimates the blood supply here in Chicago stands at under 3 days, with type O at even more dire levels, offering donors no shortage of personal satisfaction.
You know, it's something that I've always wanted to contribute to, be a part of, and something I've been doing for many years.
Blood shortages translate to delayed medical procedures, longer hospital stays, and in worst-case scenarios, patient deaths. All blood types are currently in short supply, including O negative, O positive, and B negative. But with platelet supplies at critical levels in emergency rooms throughout Chicagoland, treating victims of car accidents and other kinds of trauma becomes even more challenging.
There's really no way to be able to describe when you meet someone that was in critical condition that needed blood donation, and being able to see like only taking 30 minutes to an hour of your time could directly impact not just their life, but also their friends, their family, their acquaintances, and coworkers.
Away today's goal to collect 150 pints of blood and in turn potentially save as many as 450 lives. Still to come, shocking video out of New Jersey capturing the moment a helicopter spins out of control following a deadly collision. We've got the latest. And many of you probably still have some candy canes lying around from your Christmas celebrations. The people who make them are using some very old technology. We'll give you a look at how it's done. And while the tornado is moved out, strong winds remain. Emily is keeping her eye on that, plus an upcoming plunge in temps.
You're watching
Well, believe it or not, the vast majority of candy canes are no longer made in America. However, the places still making them are doing it with a lot of love and using some very old tech. Craig Patrick has the sweet story.
We sell wonder, we sell joy, we sell happiness.
One candy cane at a time.
We don't always take the easiest path, but we sometimes take the tastiest one.
Lofty Pursuits in Tallahassee is a throwback to the holidays of yesteryear.
Christmas is fun. Christmas is always fun.
It's one of the only shops in America that still makes candy canes by hand.
It's 6 or 7 in the United States.
Why aren't there more?
Because it takes a lot of labor and it's very difficult to learn.
Pot.
They start with peppermint oil mixed into kettles of boiling sugar until the water evaporates.
We're left with basically a liquid sugar. From that point, we pour it out on our antique cooling table, which dates back to about 1891.
Here they add red food coloring to one side with just a dab of another color to make it pop.
The tiniest drop of purple.
After they blend it and get just the right tone, they cut and separate the dark red side from the natural amber side. And as it cools, it sort of behaves like molten glass.
Yeah.
When they apply just a little pressure, it behaves like a liquid. And when they use a lot of pressure, it behaves like a solid.
The first people who did this type of technique were glassmakers in England.
Here we go.
They take the natural amber side over to the hook and fold it by hand around 70 times.
Every time we fold it, air bubbles get trapped. And twice the number, because each time we fold it, we're doubling it. And each of those little air bubbles are round, and they each reflect light. So our sugar is amber, but when the light hits it, it reflects back white. And you end up with this beautiful white candy, and there's no food coloring in it. It's strictly manipulating the surface area to manipulate light.
In the early days, all candy canes were white. According to Tale, in 1670, a German choirmaster started the whole tradition.
He was using it to teach kids about the church, and he made white candy canes in the shape of shepherd's crooks. And he did it mostly to keep the kids quiet. See, they were making so much noise in church.
Then, in the early 1900s, food coloring took off.
Well, red was one of the first colors, so it was one of the first colors used. It was associated with Christmas for a lot of things.
Old Christmas cards revealed the year they added it to the candy canes.
The stripes didn't come till 1904.
And the stripes were likened to a polka dance.
It had just become popular in Sweden at that time. And they thought it was like two dancers dancing around. That's what the stripes are representing, or they felt it moved like that.
So they dropped the colored mounds onto a heating table from that same era to keep the candy soft. They roll it, and they cut red and white stripes and form the pattern. They shape it into a log and then feed it into the cast iron spinner.
That machine is one of our newer machines. It was made in about 1910. So this thing spins it, and as it spins it, it's applying pressure on two sides. That's keeping it solid and keeping it round.
And then they pull it and give it one last twist.
We're making the stripes spiral around because who wants straight stripes on a candy cane?
They bend them into place and lay them out to cool. All thicker, and they say more flavorful than the skinny, mass-produced kind we find elsewhere.
They don't use pure peppermint oil, so our candy cane's flavors are much more intense. And they make them much thinner because they need the candy to cool faster.
Greg Cohen and Uri Gashok make their canes in batches of 300 at a time, and they let me chip in on their final batch of the day.
Perfect, and put it right next to it. Did it. And now you're going to get another one.
They make more than 10,000 each Christmas in dozens of flavors, though classic peppermint is the most popular.
It's just a great way to eat hard candy. I mean, it's candy with a handle.
Every year, kids grow up watching them make it, and when some of them grow up,
the proposals, we have wedding proposals here. I had to get certified as a minister of marriage so I could conduct wedding ceremonies.
From an old-fashioned candy shop in North Florida, selling Christmas joy for more than 30 years.
We ship the candy canes worldwide. We're parts of Christmas and Christmas traditions everywhere.
Newfound appreciation for the candy cane and for Mother Nature, because how often do we see tornadic activity on the last Sunday in December?
You know, not very often. Typically when you think of severe weather season, and I'll go ahead and put that in air quotes because there really isn't a season for it. It can happen any month of the year. Today was another example of that. But fortunately, when it comes to severe thunderstorms, all of those warnings, the tornado threat, That has all come to an end. It's well to our east now, and we're actually turning our attention back over to wintertime as we start to see some snow shower activity beginning to move in. And actually, just issued about 5-10 minutes ago, we now have a winter weather advisory that's been issued for McHenry County, Lake County in Illinois, DeKalb, Kane, as well as northern Cook County. That's remaining in effect now all the way through 3 p.m. tomorrow. But as far as when is the snow going to be falling, that's more so tonight into the early portion of tomorrow. I think most of the snow is going to be coming to an end by about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, but then still blowing snow is going to be an issue. When it comes to accumulations, not a ton, but we could be seeing as much as 1 to 2 inches of snow within that advisory area. And once you factor in 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts, that's going to be resulting in some drastically reduced visibility. So hazardous travel is going to be possible at times tonight, right on through the day tomorrow. Now, looking over to northwest Indiana, in northern LaPorte County, we also have a winter weather advisory that's going into effect at midnight, lasting until midnight tomorrow night, because some lake effect is going to get going here. So 2 to 5 inches of snow going to be possible in northern LaPorte County. Zooming out the view here, we have spotty snow showers beginning to roll in. That's going to continue and then eventually likely expand in coverage here. So we're going to see several snow showers moving through, a little more on the widespread side of things once we get into the early morning hours of tomorrow. The winds already gusting over 40 miles per hour in some locations. We also have a wind advisory that's remaining in effect until 3 p.m. tomorrow. For those westerly winds gusting as high as 50 to 55 miles per hour tonight, and then about 45 miles per hour tomorrow. Your temperatures have dropped in a huge way. So we actually saw highs today in the 50s and 60s, but now we're dropping into the 20s and 30s. Many of us are going to fall into the teens tonight. And then tomorrow, we really struggle to warm up into the low to mid 20s. So not much of a warming trend is expected for your Monday. Futurecast taking us throughout the rest of tonight. Again, here comes that snow. It could be moderate, maybe even heavy at times, but visibility is going to be a concern once you factor in those winds. Main concern going to be in that advisory area across the far north and western suburbs there. And then Futurecast taking us through the day tomorrow. Temperatures going to be cold. We wake up for a lot of us in the teens, and then we are only rebounding into the low to mid 20s. Upper 20s expected on Tuesday. By Wednesday for New Year's Eve, we're near 30 during the day, but then dropping into the teens at night. So your New Year's Day is going to be cold with a high of 20. Scott.
Thanks, Emily. Well, it is certainly common for many to take a break from the booze to start the new year. Next month is known by many as Dry January. And up next, the health benefits you could reap even if you can't stay sober for the entire month.
Fox Local, your smart TV source for
I'm Tina Lynn with your Portillo's Sports Minute. Portillo's, it always sounds good. It's a busy week for college football as the college football playoff quarterfinals kick off. It all starts on New Year's Eve with the Cotton Bowl. 10th-ranked Miami takes on 2nd-ranked Ohio State at 6:30. Then on New Year's Day, it's football all day. The Orange Bowl kicks off at 11 a.m. with 5th-ranked Oregon and 4th-ranked Texas Tech at 3 p.m. The top-ranked Indiana Hoosiers tangle with number 9 Alabama in the Rose Bowl. And under the lights, it's 6th-ranked Ole Miss and number 3 Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. The semifinals are January 8th and 9th with the Fiesta and Peach Bowl. Then the national championship on January 19th, all the way from Miami. Locally, though, the 8-4 Fighting Illini are in Nashville this week to take on the 8-4 Tennessee Volunteers in the Music City Bowl. A heavy Tennessee fan base expected to travel across the state for this game. Kickoff is at 4:30 from Nissan Stadium. Enjoy all the college football bowl games this week. I'm Tina Lynn, and that is your Portillo Sports Minute.
Well, it's a common practice during the first month of the new year, taking a break from drinking alcohol. You may know it. It's known as Dry January. And while abstaining from alcohol for the entire month might be too difficult for some, according to one study, cutting back even a little can pay off. Researchers from Brown University found that those who didn't complete the full month of sobriety but did manage to drink less were more likely to continue to do so up to 6 months later. And they reported stronger mental well-being. The study also found that people who successfully completed the dry month saw their liver function improve, their blood sugar rates drop, and their quality of sleep increase within weeks. Both groups reported a boost in confidence and feeling more in control over decision-making. Well, 2025 was not good to one major U.S. automaker when it came to recalls. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Ford had the most recalls this past year, logging some 125 on various models, breaking a decade-old record. The second most recalls came from Honda with 53. Ford's recalls came from issues including software problems, instrument panels, headlights, rear-view cameras, and more. Rear-view cameras were the key issue, impacting some 3.3 million vehicles over 2 separate recalls. Still ahead tonight, FBI Chicago turning up the heat in the search for one of their most wanted. We've got the new exclusive details as authorities try to track down Antonio Stigler.
And after a stormy day with temperatures in the 50s and even 60s in some portion of the area, we already have snow showers beginning to move back in, and we have winter weather advisories that have been issued for a good portion of the area. Those details and more coming up right after the break.
Are you ready to ring in 2026? Fox 30.
Welcome back on this Sunday night. Magnificent view of our fine city as we continue to keep our eye on the skies, and for good reason. It was a day to remember, given it was the last Sunday of 2025, and we had a tornado touchdown. Emily, quite busy all afternoon. Things have quieted, although get ready for the big cool down, right?
That's right, and it's already begun. I don't know if you noticed from that camera shot there, but it was really kind of jumping around a little bit. It's very, very gusty outside as well. We're already seeing winds gusting over 40 miles per hour at times. And as we go through tonight and into early tomorrow morning, we're going to be seeing westerly winds gusting as high as about 50, maybe even close to 55 miles per hour. So your 5-day forecast here, as far as precipitation goes, we have snow in your forecast tonight. That's going to linger into early tomorrow. So I think by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, we're starting to see that snow winding down. But then we're going to be left with blowing snow as those winds continue. And then we'll have another chance of snow showers being possible on Wednesday. The radar right now, just a couple spotty snow showers across the north and northwest suburbs. Otherwise, we're still mainly dry at this hour. But tonight, we're going to see that snow kind of filling in across the region. So just issued within about 20-25 minutes ago is a new winter weather advisory that's up for McHenry County, Lake County, DeKalb, Kane, as well as northern Cook County, lasting until 3 p.m. tomorrow. So even though the snow is going to end prior to that, blowing snow and reduced visibility is going to be a concern. 1 to 2 inches is going to be possible. And then for those of you in northern LaPorte County, where we pick up some lake effect, we have a winter weather advisory going into effect tonight at midnight, lasting until tomorrow night at midnight, for 2 to 5 inches of snow being possible. Forecast low temperatures tonight. We're dropping down to the teens to near 20 degrees. Tomorrow we only rebound to about 24, 29 degrees on Tuesday, Wednesday for New Year's Eve, a high of 30. But if you have evening plans, temperatures quickly are dropping into the teens and low 20s. Scott.
Emily, thank you. Well, take a look at this. A person killed, another critically injured. 2 helicopters actually collided. This was the scene in New Jersey this morning. The video showing one of those helicopters spinning out of control before it crashed. Authorities say the 2 pilots were the only people involved in the crash. The FAA and the NTSB now investigating. Now to Brazil, where a pilot died after crashing an ultralight aircraft into the waters off of Copacabana Beach in Rio. Authorities say that plane was carrying an ad banner. It was the first time the pilot had flown that particular type of aircraft. The pilot, the only person inside the plane. Well, tonight fans are mourning the loss of legendary film star Brigitte Bardot. She passed away at her home in France. There was no word on a cause of death. In addition to starring in films, she was a model, she was a singer, she was an animal rights activist. Some say that she made the bikini what it became in the 50s and 60s. Tributes pouring in, fans leaving flowers and photographs at a makeshift memorial outside of her home in Saint-Tropez. Bardot was 91 years old. FBI Chicago turning up the heat tonight in the search for one of their most wanted. Arnita Blanton has the exclusive on the latest developments in the hunt for Antonio Stigler.
32-year-old Antonio Stigler is wanted by the FBI for allegedly committing a heinous crime, one so awful, investigators say it will shock your conscience.
This is a crime, where he effectively executed this woman in the backyard of her residence. She was 8 months pregnant at the time, and assistance from the public in this would go a long way in helping us to minimize violent crime in the Chicagoland area.
As an incentive, FBI Chicago just announced it's now offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to Stigler's arrest. The shooting took place in the backyard of this Riverdale home on October 24th, 2024. Investigators say neither Stigler nor the victim lived where the shooting occurred, and few details are available as to how or why the shooting happened there.
They knew each other, and they were arguing at the time preceding the homicide.
Investigators also say Stigler and the female victim were not dating, and they were not related, only that they were acquaintances and both lived in Riverdale. In February of 2025, the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force obtained an arrest warrant for Stigler for first-degree murder.
We have received tips. They have given us some assistance in terms of identifying him. Those tips have suggested to us that he is still in the area, which is encouraging to us, but they've not yet led to his arrest.
Resar says the best information his team has suggests that Stigler is still in the south suburbs, but they are not ruling out the possibility that he may be somewhere else in the Chicagoland area or the U.S., like Florida or Texas. His last known address was in the 13,600 block of South Atlantic Avenue in Riverdale.
And he also has some tattoos on his chest that may be visible depending upon what he's wearing.
Stigler is described as a black male, about 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing around 180 pounds, with brown eyes, black hair, and a scar under his right eye. Stigler also goes by the name Tone. He is considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information on this case, contact FBI Chicago at the numbers right here on your screen. Anita Blanton, Fox 32, Chicago.
I'm Tina Wynn. Next in sports, full post-game coverage of the Bears and 49ers game coming up later, though, on Fox Chicago. But up next, the Blackhawks going for back-to-back wins for the first time in a month and a half. Plus, Luke Altmaier has made an impact on the Illinois record books. What will Illinois' quarterback situation look like after his final game on Tuesday? Stay with us.
Go!
Welcome back. Time now for sports. All right, our crew is standing by to bring you post-game coverage of the Bears and 49ers game once that one goes final. In the meantime, let's head to the ice where the Blackhawks are going for back-to-back wins for the first time in a month and a half. Captain Nick Foligno back for the Blackhawks after missing 19 games with a left-hand injury. He made his presence felt tonight. Foligno in front. The shot on goal hits him, but he backhands it into the net. His first goal of the season. How about that? This game was all Penguins, though. They outscored the Hawks 4-0 in the first period. Spencer Knight was pulled. He did re-enter the game in the third period. Justin Brazeau with one of those first period goals there on his way to a hat trick. Blackhawks lose 7-3. They've lost 7 of their last 8. All right, college football. Illinois faces Tennessee in the Music City Bowl on Tuesday. In Luke Altmaier's final game with the Illini, he'll have the chance to lead Illinois to back-to-back 9-win seasons for the first time in school history. But Brett Bielema and company are already preparing for a life without Altmaier, including looking at the transfer portal.
Kind of still an evaluation process to find out where we're going forward. Obviously, the portal opens January 2nd, so I think everybody's been kind of saying every year, every month we go into college football, it's a world we've never seen before. I think January is going to be an absolute, complete new world of college athletics we've never seen before. It's definitely shaping up to be that way, and we'll see when we get there. My first portal quarterback was a guy named Russell Wilson. Worked out well, and then when I went to Arkansas, I inherited a guy, Brandon Allen, who's now with Nashville here at Tennessee, who's been 10 years in the league, and then to get to Illinois and have the success of Tommy first, and obviously with Luke, it's definitely got a precedent. We've had a lot of quarterbacks reach out to us.
All right, the Bears conversation picks up at the top of the hour. Pat, the designer from ESPN, and Chris Kwasinski join me for Chicago Sports Tonight. We'll be with you until the end of the Bears and 49ers game. From there, Luke Canellis and Anthony Herron will bring you full reaction and analysis on Bears Game Night Live. We'll be right back.
Good Day Chicago.
Well, even if you like a good bike ride, maybe not this intense, we're talking BMX. There's a local track in Waukegan that riders say is, in fact, one of the best in the country. And we got a bird's eye view, courtesy of our drone team pilots, Todd Gertner and Ed Flynn.
This is our actual 20th anniversary. We've been here since 2005. What makes this track special, honestly, is the people. It feels very homey. This is one of the longest tracks in Illinois. We're the closest to the lake, closest to Wisconsin, and just honestly, just overall really great family feeling here at Waukegan BMX.
My name's Tyler Kroll. I'm the track operator here. Last year I was just a volunteer. This is my first year as a full-on track operator. We're part of USA BMX, which is a national organization. The Olympics brought BMX back in 2006. Since then, it has been the fastest growing sport in the U.S.
On your mark, get set, go!
USA BMX has over 40,000 registered members across the nation, over 300 tracks in all the different states. We've been making a push here, one, to try and grow it locally, but two, to try and reach further out into the country. So you have people coming in from different states and really trying to grow it that way too.
Wesley? Okay, we're waiting on Wesley.
So my name is Matt. I've been racing since about 2017. I've been at this track. This is my first track I ever started to race at. And I've been volunteering here pretty much ever since.
Yeah, keep eye on.
To me, it's the community. I really enjoy like the community spirit we get here. Good combination of like the young kids, you know, all the way from 3 up to 73. So wide range of ages. It's appealing sport, but really good community vibe here.
This day and age, it's hard to pull a kid away from the tablet. So honestly, here, not only are they learning BMX skills, they're learning life skills.
Being able to watch kids grow, especially through like our beginners leagues where they come out and they're timid a little bit and they find some friends here and they start pushing and they go from sitting on their bike and rolling down the hill to like really trying to get it every race. It's amazing how fast it can happen, and that is what makes all of it worth it in the long run.
Just pedal all the way.
I have like cleared open. Nobody was next to me, so I just shot it. It's tiring.
It's fun. You get the exercise in. You're able to do something. It's really fun.
I love it. Keeps me young.
The faces, you know, on these kids when they come enjoy it, and they're like, I can do it. Some think they're jumping off 5 feet off the ground, and others, they're only getting 2 inches, but at the end of the day, they're just super excited to be out here.
By the way, you can catch more stories showcasing our drone rangers and feature stories from the past year across Chicago in a special that airs right here on New Year's Day at 5:30. Although we wouldn't advise anybody riding their bike tonight because I think you're going to get blown right over, Emily.
Blown right over, and then also all of the rain that we picked up today. We have temperatures that are very rapidly dropping, so I think we're going to see a lot of ice developing here going throughout the overnight and then certainly by early morning tomorrow as temperatures drop down into the teens. So it's going to get very cold tonight. Also, it's very windy. So we have a wind advisory that has already gone into effect area-wide. That's going to remain in effect until 3 p.m. tomorrow for westerly winds gusting as high as 50 to 55 miles per hour tonight and as high as about 45 miles per hour tomorrow during the day. The radar right now, just a couple spotty snowflakes coming down. That's right, we're already turning the page back over to winter after seeing high temperatures today in the 50s and 60s. But we're going to see that snow beginning to fill in across the region late tonight into the early morning hours of tomorrow. So for that reason, we do have a winter weather advisory that's now been issued for McHenry County, Lake County, Illinois, DeKalb, Kane, and then into northern Cook County. That's going to last until 3 p.m. tomorrow. Now, it's not going to be snowing the whole time. But I think tonight through about mid-morning tomorrow, as much as 1 to 2 inches is going to be possible. But it's the winds in combination with that snow, that fresh fallen snow, that could be creating issues all the way through mid-afternoon tomorrow. So blowing snow, reduced visibility is going to be an issue where we do pick up some light accumulations tonight. Now, a little bit of a different story over toward northern LaPorte County. This particular winter weather advisory is for lake effect that's going to be developing late tonight into tomorrow as well. So as much as 2 to 5 inches of snow going to be possible. That advisory in LaPorte County goes into effect at midnight tonight, lasting until midnight tomorrow night. So your high temperatures today were actually really impressive. We made it into the 60s, 66 degrees in Kankakee, 65 in Rensselaer, a little bit cooler the farther north and west that you go. But regardless, we made it to about 56 degrees at O'Hare, and typically for this time of the year, your average highs are right around the freezing mark. That's where a lot of us are right now. We've dropped down to 31 degrees at O'Hare, already down to the 20s in places like DeKalb, 25 degrees in Aurora, and it's now 36 in Gary, 33 in Valparaiso, 36 degrees in Waukegan. Once you factor in those high winds, we already have wind chill temperatures that are dropping down into the single digits. Across the far west and southwestern sections, that's a sign of things to come for all of us. We're going to have wind chills right around 0 when the sun comes up tomorrow morning. Satellite and radar, notice all of that snow off to our west. That's going to be filtering through. Again, we do have the winter weather advisory for many counties that are going to be going into effect here. It's already in effect, lasting until 3 p.m. tomorrow. Futurecast taking us into 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're already starting to see that snow winding down, with the exception, of course, being LaPorte County and into Michigan, where we have that lake effect that's going to continue. Now, for tonight, we're planning on low temperatures that are going to be dropping down into the teens for many locations, about 20 degrees at O'Hare, 24 degrees for your high temperature on Monday. Tuesday, we're mostly cloudy, 29 degrees, 30 for New Year's Eve. But then New Year's Eve night, we're actually dropping down into the teens. New Year's Day, Scott, we're back down to about 20. Back to you.
Roller coaster indeed. Emily, thank you. All aboard for family fun. The historic Pullman Foundation has a one-of-a-kind interactive model train exhibit. Coming up, we've got your inside look.
You're watching the home of the Bears.
Attention families, you're invited to check out a celebration of the Pullman rail cars. This is an interactive experience with model trains and Lego building sessions. And best of all, it's absolutely free. Our photojournalist, Stefan Ward, gives us a look inside.
We have HO trains, O-gauge trains. We have the Polar Express train. We got freight trains and we got metro trains. Young people will learn by having model trains. They learn electricity. They learn a little bit of architecture. They learn some engineering, and they have fun doing it.
Now, when that turns yellow, you can go, okay?
It's different than sitting at home on a tablet. We have a whole table of interactive things for young people to do. They can press the button and they can see log cars going up and down. They can see milk cars bringing the milk out. Pullman wouldn't be here if it wasn't for train travel.
I mean, it's in our neighborhood, and like for us, Pullman's like a very magical town. Like being here at the exhibit, you see how the movie The Polar Express was basically based off of the old Pullman factory, and you see a lot of the architecture. It's very significant to this neighborhood.
I like the design and models of the trains. It looks pretty cool. When I control the trains, you can control the speed.
My responsibility is keeping the dream alive. What I do is I maintain these trains and make them operative so everybody can enjoy all the accessories that are like 50 to 70 years old and stuff, and keep them going so they could enjoy their parents' experience. And that's my main goal, is to keep the dream alive.
The historic Pullman model train experience runs through tomorrow. We're right back after the break.
Hold on to every
Apparently, many of us are so busy this time of year, we forget what day it is, and it's only getting worse. A new survey from Talker Research says that between Christmas and New Year, most of us will forget what day it is at least 5 times. So why is it so tough to track which day it actually is? Researchers say it's likely because many of us drop our normal routines in favor of more leisurely activities, except, Emily, for those of us in the news business, because the news never stops, nor does the weather. You have certainly been busy. I know you never forget the day of the week, the month, or the year.
I definitely haven't forgotten it this week, that is for sure. So yes, it was a very busy day across the region today. We had those tornadic storms, we had gusty winds. Now we have that wind advisory remaining in effect tonight, lasting through 3 p.m. tomorrow. Your high temperatures tomorrow, only 24 degrees. We have snow in your forecast as well. 29 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have a chance for scattered snow showers yet again for your New Year's Eve. And then New Year's Eve night, that's when it gets very cold again. So we're dropping from 30 down to the teens by New Year's Day. So starting off 2026 on a very cold note, 20 for your high on Thursday. Then by Friday, we're back up to the upper 20s. Same thing on Saturday. Scott.
All right, Emily, thanks so much. And feel better, by the way. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good Day Chicago begins bright and early at 4:30. You can stream us on your smart TV with Fox.